Well, a number of communities in eastern Canada still under a state of emergency after heavy rains and continued flooding. Hundreds of additional troops have arrived now in Quebec to help build dikes and provide some relief. And in Quebec, volunteers have been busy handing out supplies and layering sandbags. We have reporters in both provinces for you this morning. They're going to give us the latest update. Let's start first with CTV's Sarah Freemark, who's on the ground for us in Constance Bay. Sarah, can you give us a sense of just how big this damage is?
It's catastrophic, Anne-Marie, and I'm not just speaking from my point of view. We have spoke with officials here in West Carleton. There are over 300 homes that land within the flood zone. Almost 90 of them have been evacuated at this point. Now, what's shocking is that we are in Hipwaiters standing right now in someone's paved driveway. Now, there is about 2.5 feet of water at this point, but we can still hear dogs barking in this home. There are certain residences that at this point have had their power cut off, but even those that have no power and are running off of generators are still staying within their homes. Now, private security has been issued at this point. There have been no reports of looting, but it is a very scary sight. Now, many locals wondering why a state of emergency has not yet been declared here in West Carleton, where you find Constance Bay. The only area where that has happened at this point is Clarence Rockland. Now, a lot of people speaking to the need for that state of emergency, not only because they're hoping for the extra help, but also because of insurance issues. Upwards of 70% of people here in West Carleton do not have insurance for their homes, and at this point are wondering what's going to happen once the water level does recede, how they are possibly going to pay for all of the damage.
Yeah, you know, just looking at those examples that you're showing us this morning, Sarah, for people, you know, like that homeowner of whose driveway you're standing on right now, what kind of assistance is being offered to them?
A lot of it has just been based on community support. We have seen Canadian Red Cross both in Clarence Rockland and here in Constance Bay, but mostly it's been tight-knit community members stepping up to help where they can, filling the sandbags. Since May 1st, almost 300,000 sandbags have been filled and distributed between Gatineau, Clarence Rockland, and here in West Carleton. Now, at one point, they ran out of sandbags, so local farmers stepped up and started bringing in what would typically be used to fill bags of grain, so that could be used for the sandbags. Now, from there, community centers, arenas, all of these have become emergency shelters. We are about to make our way up Bayview Drive to the community center, where they are serving breakfast and where they do have warm cots set up for those that need that shelter.
Boy, it's good to see the community support there. Sarah, thanks for your coverage this morning. Let's check in now with Annie DeMelt. She's standing by in Pierrefonds, Quebec. And, you know, Annie, we've been watching for the last few days the water levels there, the flooding there. This is one of the hardest hit areas in Quebec. Give us a sense of the damage and what it looks like this morning.
Well, Anne-Marie, just to give you an idea, what I'm standing in right now, this happened in a couple of hours. So that's how quickly the water levels have been rising over the past few days, and how people have really been caught off guard in some cases across the province, especially in Montreal, where the Rivière des Prairies has burst its bank. And just if you can imagine, this is actually in this part of Pierrefonds, this Montreal suburb just west of downtown Montreal. It's a dry, so it's been in a couple of days, and that's thanks to the efforts of the Canadian Armed Forces that have been here for a couple of days now. I'll just let my cameraman show you the work that they've been doing. They've actually been building these walls containing the Rivière des Prairies that's just almost peeking over these layers of sandbags that you're seeing right there. However, you know, in some areas, it is much too late. The damage has been done west of here in Rigaud, in the Outaouais. We're now talking about more than 2,700 homes that have been flooded, almost 2,000 evacuees in Quebec, and that number, Anne-Marie, is expected to rise a little bit as the water levels peak today.
You know, some of the frustrations, not only, you know, people being critical, saying the military was called in too late, but also that they ran out of sandbags that they were asking for from various communities. We know that Justin Trudeau also took a trip to Quebec over the weekend. What kind of action can we expect to see from Ottawa to help these people out?
Well, right now, it really is the work of the military, the 1,600 soldiers that have been deployed. Usually, this is something that municipalities, that provinces would handle by themselves. Of course, they've been overwhelmed and call in the military. And as you mentioned, there has been a lot of criticism, people saying, why did you wait till homes were pretty much submerged, until people had lost their houses completely? Hundreds of people had lost their homes before calling them in. They're here now. The question a lot of people are asking in Quebec is, who's going to pay for this? And usually in cases like these, Ottawa would be handing over the bill to Quebec. However, in the past, it has happened that they've picked it up, that slate has been wiped clean. So really at this point, we just don't know. There's so much work to be done, several weeks more of this. And, you know, this is what it's going to look like in Quebec, and in some cases far worse. We're being told into the month of June, Anne-Marie.
All right, a long road ahead as we head now into the cleanup stage. Annie DeMelt, thanks so much.